Hi, I'm Shakira and welcome to Opteo Improvements 101. So today we're diving into how Opteo's improvements can help you to optimize your Google Ads campaigns more efficiently. Sometimes managing Google Ads can feel like a bit of a balancing act. On one hand, it's really easy to get bogged down in the repetitive, routine optimization tasks that take up way too much of your time without necessarily delivering the best results. And on the other hand, not spending enough time optimizing can lead to really inefficient campaigns, wasted ad budgets, and the performance of your account suffering as a result. The good news is that much of the optimization work that you need to do can be automated. So you don't need to spend hours in Google Ads every single day just to keep things running smoothly. And while Google does offer some recommendations, what you really need are the deep strategic improvements, because that's what's going to move the needle on your performance. And that's where the Opteo improvements come in. So in this tutorial, we'll walk through the key areas that Opteo can help you optimize. We'll look at how to choose the right performance mode for your account in Opteo. We'll also look at creating new campaign groups, setting targets, and choosing conversion actions in your Opteo account. And then we'll go through a typical improvement workflow. So firstly, what can Opteo help you to optimize? Well, the improvements are designed to help optimize 5 key areas. Excluding low value traffic. So Opteo will help you to identify and exclude underperforming devices, websites, YouTube channels, mobile apps, even Gmail ads, so you can avoid wasting your ad budget. We'll also help you manage your keywords. So we'll help you to discover new keywords, resolve conflicts in your keyword and negative keyword lists. We'll help you add negative keywords from search terms, and we'll also help you pause underperforming keywords to avoid wasting money on them. We'll also help with best practices and detecting errors. So Opteo will do things like remind you to add missing ad extensions or let you know if you've got a broken link in your account to make sure the account remains quite healthy. And then finally, we'll help you with targets and bid optimizations. So whether you are old school using manual bidding or whether you are using smart automated bidding strategies, Opteo will help you to either adjust your bids for manual bidding or adjust your targets where you're using target ROAS or target CPA. The goal is the same. We're trying to make sure that your bids or your targets are always set to the sweet spot. So let's take a look at setting up your Opteo improvements. So in your Opteo account center, if you open up an account, the first thing you want to do is choose a performance mode. So go to the settings at the top right here, and then use the jump to button to go to the performance mode section. So different businesses have really different goals in Google Ads. It's important to tell Opteo about your focus so it can optimize for the right metric. So for example, if you run an e-commerce business, you might need to optimize for ROAS, focusing on the value of each sale. But if you are running a plumbing business focused on lead generation, your goal might be to reduce your cost per acquisition. So the performance mode settings allow you to guide Opteo to what metric matters most. To set it, all you need to do is click the drop down and decide whether this account needs to be set to CPA mode or ROAS mode. By default, Opteo is in CPA mode, but if you want to switch to ROAS mode, you can select that. And then make sure to press update performance mode. And don't worry, these settings don't affect anything directly in your Google Ads account. They just tell Opteo which metrics to prioritize when optimizing. So if you click the improvements tab at the top here, that'll take us back to the improvements page. The next thing to do is create your campaign groups. So on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see this button called campaign groups. Open that up and you'll see these settings. So not all campaigns are created equally, and they shouldn't be treated as such when you're optimizing. If you imagine you've got several different types of campaigns, some focused on branding, some focused on lead generation, others focused on product discovery, comparing them side by side wouldn't make much sense because their goals are so different, and that's where the campaign groups come in. So Opteo lets you group campaigns with similar objectives. That way it can make kind of smarter, more targeted suggestions. It also helps avoid skewing your results by comparing, for example, a low budget brand awareness campaign with a high intent lead gen campaign. Campaign groups are also really, really useful for accounts that have a low volume of data. So by grouping campaigns that are similar, you kind of give Opteo more data to work with, and that can really help speed up the optimization process. So by default, your campaigns will be grouped by channel with a separate group for brand campaigns. But you can create new groups at the top right by clicking this Add New Group button here. This will give us a new group, and we can click the pencil icon here to rename it to something more identifiable. And then I just need to find the campaigns I'd like to move to that group. For example, these three. And then I can press the Move to Campaign Group button at the bottom right here. And I can find my new campaign group and move those campaigns into it. So I've now got my new campaign group. And you'll often hear us to refer to campaign groups throughout the app, particularly in the improvements. So now you know what we're referring to when we mention a campaign group. Once you've grouped up your campaigns, the next thing to do is tell us a little bit more information about those campaigns. And one thing you can do is tell us about your conversion actions. So conversion actions tell Opteo what's important to your business. Let's be honest, you might have some conversion actions in your Google Ads account that you didn't even know existed. They could be duplicates, they might be outdated. Whatever they are, they can really clutter your data. So Opteo lets you highlight the primary conversion actions. So these are the ones that really matter. For example, purchases are usually more important than add to cart. Form fills are more important than site visits. So by selecting the most important actions, you can make sure Opteo optimizes your campaigns based on what actually drives your business. So to set the conversion actions, find your campaign group and click the pencil icon next to the conversion actions box. This will bring up a screen where you can see all of the conversion actions that are inside your Google Ads account. And you can easily enable and disable a specific conversion action. Disabling it will mean that Opteo does not consider that conversion actions data in the improvements. You can also see how many conversions that action generated in the last 90 days, and you can see how much conversion value it generated. You can also see the type of conversion action you have, whether it's listed as primary in Google Ads or secondary. Once you've selected your conversion actions and you're happy with them, remember to press Save Conversion Actions here. Now let's look at setting targets. Optimizing without clear goals is a bit of a waste of time, to be honest. We need to have a benchmark of good performance to understand what bad performance is. So to get the best results with Opteo, it is important to set performance targets for your campaigns. So to do that, you can click the pencil icon next to the target CPA or target ROAS box here. There are two options when it comes to setting a target for your campaign group. You can either set a manual target or you can use auto-targeting. The default is auto-targeting, so this should be what your campaign groups are set to if you haven't adjusted any of these settings. Opteo's automatic targeting feature uses your campaign average to set a sensible benchmark, so you can start optimizing right away, and then we can steadily optimize the account to keep everything at the average. If you're not happy with the average or you have a specific target in mind, you can disable automatic targeting here, and you can delete the average from this box, and you can enter your specific target instead and press Save Target CPA. Remember, if your targets change, you'll need to tell Opteo that, and I also suggest to be realistic with your manual targets. So for example, if you end up setting a CPA target that's too low, like $10 when your average CPA is $100, that can lead to changes that might hurt your campaigns because it's too aggressive. So if you're not sure about which manual target to set, use automatic targeting. Now that your campaign groups are set, you've set your conversion actions and you've set your targets, it's time to start applying the Opteo improvements. So you can click the X to come back to the main improvement page. As a recap, improvements are simply what we call your optimizations. So every single day, Opteo analyzes your data and it's looking for inefficiencies and areas for improvement. So these improvements are completely impartial and they're backed by your own data. So you know that they're grounded in what's actually happening in your account and not on arbitrary forecasts and goals. So on the improvements page here, you can see the specific recommendation and you can see which part of the account we're referring to, whether it's a group of campaigns or an ad group or a keyword. The default sorting option is by priority, with highest priority improvements calculated to have the biggest impact on your cost efficiency. So this is where we think you should start when it comes to optimizing today. Let's look at an improvement together and go through a typical workflow of applying an improvement. So you can click anywhere on the bar to open an improvement, or you can click the Open Improvement button. So when you do that, Opteo includes a clear explanation of the problem, the supporting data, and our recommended action for fixing the problem. So we don't bombard you with irrelevant information. We keep it all really clean and minimal, just letting you know what you need to know to make this decision. So if we look at this improvement of excluding an age demographic, Opteo is telling me in the campaign above, it's combined the performance of a lot of low data ad groups to gather enough data to make a recommendation. And the aggregated data shows that searches in the 65 and over demographic are underperforming. Excluding it should help me reduce my wasted spend. And looking at some forecasting, Opteo thinks that if I make this change, I might lose 0.1 conversions per month, but I also might save myself $237, and I might decrease my overall CPA from 576 to 518, so about a 10% decrease. Here I can verify all of the ad groups Opteo has gathered together to make this decision. And I can also see a big table with all of the data about these age groups. So I can clearly see that the 65s and over are a problem area. Now, if I scroll down, Opteo always paints the picture in the improvement statistics. So here I can see that this age bracket has a CPA of 2,887. But on average, the ad groups Opteo has analysed have a CPA of 576. So this is a clear outlier, a clear problem area, a clear inefficiency. Here, Opteo is letting me know at the bottom when this improvement was last updated, and it's also letting me know what date range it's basing this on. So you might be wondering, how does it know to look at the last 30, 60, 90, or even 365 days? The way to work out which date range to use is up to us, and it's dynamic. When choosing the best time frame, Opteo uses dynamic look-back windows. So we perform a minimum clicks calculation to essentially make sure that the decisions are made with the most recent data, but also sufficient data. So if you review an improvement and you agree with it, all you need to do to apply this change is click the green button in the bottom right here. It will show up in your change history nearly instantly, as if you or your team made the change. So the word Opteo will not be seen anywhere. Alternatively, since some accounts have their nuances, all of our optimizations may not always be applicable for whatever reason. For example, we might tell you to pause a keyword that's super important, but so you need to keep bidding on it, but the data indicates that you should pause it. In this case, you have some other options. Take another look. So if I open up this improvement and I decide that actually this is a really important age bracket for us, this is meant to be my target audience, so I don't want to exclude them. In that case, I might use the dismiss function down here to dismiss this forever, or I might snooze it for a week or a month, and that will give it some time to gather some more data, and Opteo will reevaluate this particular recommendation in a month or a week. Now, back on the improvements page, if you want to speed up the process, you can click the grey plus sign next to the improvements, and this will let you apply them in bulk by pressing the green button down here. If there is no plus sign, like we see up here, that usually means that you can't apply that improvement in bulk because it needs some manual input from you. And if you try to apply it in bulk, you'll see an error message. And then finally, on the right-hand side of the page, you have some different sort options. So you can sort by priority, by the type of improvement, by the date the improvement was first generated, or even by improvements that you can apply in bulk. You can also decide to mute certain improvement types by disabling them here. So muting a specific improvement type here will mean you don't see that improvement for this account ever again until you re-enable it. So there you go. That's how you can use the Opteo improvements to optimize your campaigns and free up your time to go and do more impactful work.